The Tyranids are terrifying not simply because they are numerous, adaptive, or relentless. They are terrifying because they are unified, a single mind, a single purpose, a single will projected across billions of organisms. Every scythe, every spore, every synapse node is just one cell in a galactic predator. The hive mind is the opposite of chaos. It is perfect order, perfect cooperation, perfect hunger without ego. But what if that changed? What if the one thing that makes the Tyranids unstoppable also becomes the one thing that breaks them? What happens if the hive mind fractures? The known galaxy has only ever seen the hive mind as a monolith. When hive fleets arrive, they do so with absolute psychic discipline. Distances of light years mean nothing when synapse creatures form a perfect relay. Kill a million gaunts and nothing changes. Kill a synapse creature and the hive mind simply reroutes itself. Splinter fleets maintain enough psychic cohesion to act with terrifying precision. But these splinters are not separate minds. They are still threads feeding into the same unimaginable intelligence. A true fracture would be something else entirely, something the Imperium has never faced, something no Xenos race could predict, something that might already be happening beyond the galactic rim. The first question is, can the hive mind even split? Tyranids were engineered, whether by themselves or something older, to resist psychic corruption. Chaos cannot tempt them. Warp entities barely influence them. But Tyranids have one weakness that is rarely discussed. Their mind is distributed. It is not a single brain. It is a system, a web, and any system, no matter how powerful, can have points of failure or points of divergence. Think of the hive mind as an ocean. You can't break an ocean in half, but you can cause rifts in its currents, whirlpools, rogue waves, isolated currents cut off by strange winds or unnatural storms. And the galaxy is full of unnatural storms. Consider what happens when a hive fleet encounters a massive, violent psychic anomaly. The Astronomicon, the Cicatrix Maledictum, Necron pylons nullifying the warp, or even the raw turbulence of warp storms. We know that synapse webs can temporarily collapse. We know that isolated broods begin to behave erratically when the psychic link weakens. And we know that when the hive mind is blocked from its own children, those children begin mutating in unpredictable directions. The perfect machine becomes noisy, imperfect, alive in the wrong way. Imagine a splinter fleet permanently cut off, not just losing contact, but trapped for decades, centuries, or even millennia, forced to adapt without direction, forced to survive without instruction, forced to evolve without the guiding intelligence that designed them. Evolution without supervision is not evolution. It is drift. It is divergence. It is rebellion without intent. In time, that isolated splinter might develop its own proto-consciousness. Not a full hive mind, but a rival instinct. A parallel algorithm of hunger. A new strategy matrix. A new identity built from eons of forced autonomy. When it finally reconnects to the greater hive mind, what happens? Does it submit? Does it resist? Or does the hive mind itself hesitate? The idea that the collective intelligence could encounter a version of itself that it did not create is one of the most disturbing implications in all Tyranid lore. If such a proto-mind were incompatible with the main hive mind, the psychic collision would be catastrophic. Not in the sense of a mere disagreement, but in the sense of a multi-galactic biological network suddenly encountering corrupted data. Millions of nodes, synapse creatures, neural relays, hive ship cores would begin acting out of sync. A psychic civil war would not look like two armies lining up. It would look like shadow in the warp overlapping with itself. It would feel like static, but alive. The void between stars becoming a battleground not of organisms, but of thoughts. Two versions of hunger clashing for control of the same matter. And yet, the physical consequences would be visible. Entire hive fleets changing direction, some becoming more aggressive, others becoming defensive. Bioships ignoring commands, warrior organisms reclassifying threats, swarms attempting to devour each other not out of hatred, but because each believes the other is a corrupted data stream that must be overwritten. Imagine a splinter fleet that has learned to prioritize stealth and infiltration, encountering a hive fleet optimized for brute force. Their strategies would be incompatible, their instincts contradictory. Their genetic blueprints might even try to overwrite each other through the devouring process, causing unpredictable hybrid monstrosities. The rest of the galaxy would not be safe either. A fractured hive mind does not become weaker, it becomes chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous in ways even the Inquisition cannot simulate. The hive mind's greatest limitation is its need for unity to think clearly. Break that unity, and you unleash a predator that thinks in fragments, each part trying to outconsume the others. Imperial commanders would misinterpret this as a sudden vulnerability, a chance to strike. But the truth is that a civil war among Tyranids would create pressure, evolution, and urgency at a level never seen before. And in the end, only one mind would survive. One will, one perfected hunger. The winning consciousness would consume its rival not just biologically, but psychically. It would absorb its strategies, its experiences, its evolutionary tricks. The surviving hive mind would be more efficient, more adaptive, and more terrifying than before. A civil war is not a weakness for the Tyranids. It is an upgrade. And here is the final, most unsettling possibility. What if this has already happened? What if the Tyranids came to this galaxy precisely because they are the survivors of a cosmic-scale civil war in their home galaxy? A civil war so devastating that the only path to survival was to abandon everything and start anew in an untouched galactic ecosystem. What if every hive fleet currently devouring the Milky Way is just a remnant of that ancient conflict? The hive fleets might not be an invasion force. They might be refugees, evolutionary survivors, the last echoes of a war between hungers so vast that our entire galaxy is nothing more than their recovery project. If that is true, then the Tyranids are not just a threat. They are a warning, a living message from a galaxy that tore itself apart. A message that says, never let unity become a prison. Never let perfection become a cage. And never assume the hive mind is whole. Because somewhere out there, beyond the void, another hunger may still be watching, and it may be coming.